Good morning. The French are revolting. I've always known it. I've always known they're revolting. I've worked with enough of them over the years. In fact, I've been very good friends with many French guys, and they are bloody arrogant, but good people. I like the French, and I like to be able to make fun of them. But they are giving it to Macron, and I salute them for this. And I hear that there have been some deaths as well, which is absolute tragedy. Also saw Rev's video where apparently, rumours of a sniper. I mean, unbelievable. If that's true. So why are they rioting? What's this protest about? So it's about the increases, the never-ending increases in costs of living, and this time oil costs, meaning petrol at the pump, diesel at the pump. And when that goes up, everything goes up, because the couriering, can't speak very well, the transportation of goods around our countries rely on fossil fuels in one way or another, whether that's air, rail or road or boat. It's all fossil fuels that are needed, and we're all using fossil fuels because we're greedy assholes, because we're ignoring other options now. It's the only option available to us the plebs. I suspect that if the will had been there decades ago to really push on down the renewable energies route, going down fully electric, we probably would have been there by now. I'm sure of it. That's just my personal opinion, but it's definitely held back. The progress has been held back by lobbyists from the oil and gas industry. Hundreds of millions are spent by the lobbyists in giving bungs or whatever to politicians to look this way or to vote that way, to basically what they want, and it's sick. I would very much like to see lobbying controlled, legislation in place where if a politician benefits financially in any way from a company that's lobbying them, they should be banged up. That should be treason, I think, because you're acting against the best needs of your own country for your own personal gain. So I would want there to be absolute transparency. I'm not sure what UKIP's position is. I know Anne-Marie is well up for making a lot more transparency, but the only way we'll ever find out, because we're not going to get this lot of politicians to vote for change. Turkeys don't vote for Christmas. But if we were to get a UKIP government in and they didn't do something about it, I would protest against UKIP as well. So yeah, the progress of renewable energy has been massively slowed down by this greed, and we're now being continually told that we, the human race, are responsible for global warming. My position on that has been maybe a bit, probably we add to it a little bit, but we don't know how much, and I certainly have never trusted what's coming out from the mainstream on it, because I think they've got ulterior motives. They want to bring in more legislation, more tax us right up the arse constantly, and make us feel guilty by showing us pictures of homeless monkeys and stuff like that. Had a passenger a while ago. That's the beauty of this job. I get to talk to some interesting people, and he was a scientist, and it came up about the global warming, and he was adamant that the effect that humans are having on global warming, because climate is changing, but the effect of it from us is zero. He knew what he was talking about. He explained it to me. He basically said it's all to do with CO2, and he said what percentage of our atmosphere do I think is CO2? And I guessed that he used the analogy this. If you put out a deck of playing cards on a table, how much would be CO2? And I guessed at one card, and he said no, it would be the tiniest snip of one corner of one card. So I've googled it, and lo and behold, the percentage of our atmosphere made up of CO2 is 0.0 0.03%. He's right. It's tiny. It's almost unmeasurable. And that's what we're being told is the cause of global warming, or cause of climate change. So I don't trust them. So we're left in a situation where what do? We are enslaved to fossil fuels because we don't have an option, because it's being slowed down deliberately by our governments, and being punished for it, and being taxed right up the jacksie for it. So fair play to the French for saying no. Good on you guys, and it's a tragedy if people are going to die over this. And I hope that this finishes off Macron, and he's done, and then they can vote in Le Pen, and then the EU can be shut down because the French will be out then. But oil, you know, this black gold, this stuff that just seems to be, unfortunately, in a part of the world that is so backward, really, and that they can have so much influence on the rest of the world because of this stuff. We just need to get away from it. I long for the day that a solar panel on my roof would generate enough power to heat my house and to run, you know, everything that needs electricity in it, and also to charge up my vehicle. Brilliant. I would love that, but I don't think the government have quite worked out how to tax us properly for that yet. Maybe it will happen when they've figured out how to really tax us on that, because they don't want to lose all this money. They can virtue signal all they want, but they want this money. They want to keep charging us congestion charges, you know, zero emission zones, and just it's so obvious, really, when you start looking at it. And it's not like conspiracy nut job stuff. It's a conspiracy. They are acting against us here. And oil has caused so many wars, like the Americans denying the Japanese oil in the late 30s or the early 40s, and, you know, just a little nudge towards them attacking Pearl Harbor. I believe that. I mean, whether or not they knew it was going to happen, I don't know. That's where the conspiracy gets deeper, but they definitely antagonised the Japanese, and they definitely wanted to get into the war because war makes money for them. I saw another documentary on YouTube, so I have to take it with a pinch of salt, where it was saying that the Kuwaitis, before the first Gulf War, were horizontally drilling into Iraqi oil fields and nicking their oil. And if that isn't provocation, I don't know what is. You know, another war. I mean, Saddam Hussein was an evil tyrant. He deserved to die. But, you know, that's oil. That's all about oil. And Tony Blair is profiting massively. The guy's worth well in excess of £100 million now, and he's paid a fortune by the oil industry in the Middle East to act as an envoy. You know, weapons of mass destruction. That's the only person I would bring back capital punishment for. I think I would love to see him twitching at the end of the rope, but unfortunately I wouldn't trust our establishment, if capital punishment did come back in, to use it properly and not use it against people like us. I think that's about it, really. Yeah, bit rambling as normal. What do you expect? It's me, innit? But if anyone does have more in-depth knowledge on those things that I talked about, yeah, share it with me. You guys do the research. I'm too lazy. Anyway, this one's over. Thank you very much for watching. See you again soon. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe and those things. That'd be great. Bye.